now listening to the Good Bad Advice Podcast with Stephanie and Chase.
Hello. Welcome, you guys. Oh, that sounds very much like
Welcome to Illyria.
Yeah, totally. Welcome to the Good Bad Podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Chase.
And I'm Stephanie.
And we give advice to people in news each week who do not ask for it. I don't also think they're taking it, to be honest. This is an echo chamber. Let's just be real. Yeah. This is, if you want funny, random takes on things in life, come here. But I actually don't think, if the goal is to be giving people advice, we're doing our part. Do yours.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how we could take it. Maybe
listen harder.
Yeah, maybe just focus a little harder.
Some of you really just seem to be out there doing whatever you want.
Just kind of like, cool, next podcast. Like, no, sorry. We're actually helping humanity, but we can lead a horse to water.
There's a reason why
gobble.
Advice is on the end.
Advice is on the end. It's not just meant to be good and bad. But how are you, my queen? Your hair looks great. I said it earlier today. You did say it's because you showered. But your hair really does look so silky.
No, it's like crazy. What a wash.
It's so crazy what taking care of yourself a little teeny bit does.
Like when you do an everything shower, it's so crazy when you get out. You're like, I'm glowing.
Yeah, you're like, I'm so sorry. The world is not grateful enough.
Is that also because I hadn't done an everything shower in a week and a half,
Got it. Can't relate. I shower multiple times a day.
Yeah, no, I do think that's weird.
Well, no, I shower because I shower in the morning.
Yeah.
And then I'll go to the gym and then I'll shower at the gym. And then sometimes I'll shower at night right before bed if I've changed the sheets, which I did last night. And I also slept with the cats because Steven's in New York on tour. And so when he's gone, I will sleep with the cats and let the cats sleep in the bedroom with us because they don't with Steven. Mm-hmm. And I also put fresh sheets on last night. I was giving myself the full hotel experience. Shout out to Spencer who made a Instagram thing that was do a turn down service for yourself before bed and just see what that does for mental health. Live, laugh, loved it.
Yeah.
So I do that. I wake up at 6 a.m. with the cats wrestling. And at first I thought it was Steven in bed. And so I was like, what the? And then I saw it was the cat. So I said, get out. And then I told Steven and he's like, since when am I at 6 in the morning? How did that make? And I was like, well, I was coming out of sleep. Yeah. So I wasn't thinking clearly, but I was thinking, oh, babe, I'm trying to sleep. Oh, it's just the cats.
Yeah, just the cats.
Yeah. So, but how was your week?
Very good. Very busy week for me at work. I am so glad it's over.
And we're doing it again this time.
Oh, but this week was particular. Just corporate espionage. Just kidding. No, I just sometimes
she's
in work.
This week insider trading, a little embezzy. It was a lot.
Just sometimes at work you're just I think that people should use their brains.
Preach, sister. You're telling someone who deals with people's drama all day, every day. And it was we didn't have to be here. I'm glad we are because that's how I make my living and pay for my car.
Exactly.
Notwithstanding, wow.
Yeah, no. And on top of that, I will say a joke that I make about my job is the conditions, which are working from 9:30 to 4, paid lunch every single day, hanging out with people
benefits, gorgeous parties, bonuses
at the jazz. I understand the conditions.
Are we going to Kelsey Ballerini?
When is that one?
In March. Remember we talked about that when we were at Sabrina?
Yeah, let me look.
Okay.
Anyway, just this week I was you know what? I think mandatory IQ tests in the hiring process should be implemented.
A personality, an MMPI. Got it.
Some of you, and luckily only a few of my coworkers listen to this, and I'm not talking about you. Some of you should use your brains.
Some of you need help.
Yeah, some of you should not be paid as much as you are, but
and we should be paid more.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I should absorb that.
Yeah, no, fully.
No, when somebody needs help resetting a password, I'm are you kidding me?
How many passwords do you have? Do you have your core passwords, or do you have everyone's a different one and I just use the little face recognition?
No, I used to have one that I used for literally everything. I'm a hacker's dream.
No, 1,000% same.
And then I started changing to a variation. But if you're in my life, the variation is somebody in my life in the same variation.
Oh, right.
Like, but yes, I will pretty much do the same password.
I remember 2 things from Miss Peck, my 6th grade teacher. Uh-huh. She said, 1, change your, I don't believe this, but she said, this was when checks were really big. She's like, change your signature every year. That way, if someone forges your signature on a check, you could say, actually, that was my signature 2 years ago, but this is my new signature for whatever year. I think that's dumb. But what she also said was, never have a password that is specific to something about you. You should just pick random numbers. So like if my password was like Steph, right? I can't do like Steph and your birthday. Yeah. Or like Steph, whatever. I have to do like Steph 551243.
Yeah.
And like, what does that mean? Nothing. Just 55143.
So the way that I'm going to get them though is I duplicate letters in random places.
Ooh, and
I am giving it away right now.
Yeah, no, literally same. I just was going to say, again, I switch out letters.
Stream.
E's are 3s for me. A's are 4s. And O's are 0s.
Good luck trying to find whichever random phone number I'm referencing.
Yeah, 100%. I have 3, but good luck.
Yeah.
Ever finding out. We're basically, hey, CIA, call us.
Phone number.
But you know what I do?
My number, Draven's number.
No, I'm like Vale Circle address, Bolter address, my current address. Mix those numbers up. Guess what? There's only 4 options. No, but in that same vein, at the lockers in the gym, I use the exact same 4-digit code.
Yeah.
And then, but because I'm like a spy and I monitor other people's, because sometimes I try to see, this is like not good to admit, but sometimes I try to see if I can like observe what people are putting as their code. And I'll be like, oh, I actually know your code now.
Yeah.
Which you never get it when they're locking it. Because when they lock it, they'll often like, whatever, mix it up. It's when they unlock it. When they unlock it and they just whip that door right open, amateurs. So I unlock it and I mix it up. And every time I do, I'm like, CIA, FBI, call me. CIA, who's looking for a spy? Yeah. MI6, give me a ring-a-ding-ding. I think I'd be a terrible spy.
No, I'd be the worst.
Horrible asset, but
if
really
I was captured,
fun.
I'd be like, what do you want to know?
I'd be like, I wouldn't even be captured. I'd be like, can I tell you something? Just like a random person.
You guys, can I tell you something?
Hey, hypothetically, wink, there's a bomb.
Yeah.
Like in Cincinnati right now that we're trying to find. Oh my God. I said way too much.
This is a friend of a friend.
Okay. Will you not tell anybody? Like this would be like me all the time. Like they can guarantee it will get out. So the only value I have as being an asset is to spread misinformation.
Actually, though, I don't think that you're giving yourself enough credit because you did actually hide.
Oh my gosh. That's
like a level 9 threat secret.
Okay, you guys, I am very, very, very excited to announce today I'm getting married and I've been engaged for a couple of months.
But now I would like to make it about me.
Yes.
Because
I had a feeling this was coming.
Because Chase, my dearest friend, the secrets that I have told this man, you wouldn't even believe. It's
and
twisted.
Candidly, I've forgotten.
Yeah, most of them, yeah, totally. And tell me why he announced his engagement to me, and then
it is on recording. So I have it on recording.
We've been engaged for 2 months.
Yikes!
I said 2 months.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. Wait a minute, I'm angry.
That is exactly how it went. How it went was, so we had, the way that we told people was we poured our own candles and had labels made with the character from The Princess Bride, the priest who's Mowage is what brings us together today, and then we had our wedding day at the bottom. We thought it was kind of like witty and a little bit of like a puzzle or whatever. So we have that. So Stephanie opens it, I'm recording it, and she's like, wait, what is this? What is this? And then she's like, she puts it down, and then she's like, oh my gosh, are you kidding? You have the cutest, like most genuine, heartfelt reaction for about 30 seconds. And then what happens?
I'm so glad you didn't put this in the
No, totally. So what I did was, in order to like announce it to everybody, I consolidated it with the people that the majority, I didn't get everybody, but the majority of people that we ended up telling that I'd had recorded their reaction to, I just had kind of put them together with a beautiful Lucy Spraggan song that I love. And we had that as like our announcement. And because it really is so fun getting to share exciting news with people. Like that's the best part about having good news is getting to share it at the right time.
Yeah,
there it is. Yeah, cover CYA. So Stephanie's little clip on the main video is just her being like really
immediate
sweet.
reaction.
Yeah, immediate reaction. Then if I would have put the rest of the reaction on, which I still have, so maybe I will.
Maybe just put it on our carousel this week.
Yeah. So
I'm like, I'm so happy for you.
She's like, I'm so happy for you.
I'm so shocked.
She goes, when was it? And I was like, well, we've been engaged for 2 months. She's like, wow. And then it was like literally like this. Wow. So like, I don't know, why didn't you tell me? That she's like, I see you every single week to record the pod. We talk almost every single day.
Yep.
You did not. Now, why that was really great for me.
Yes.
Is because Steven and I got engaged in October, and we had decided that we wouldn't tell anybody until we could tell the kids.
Yes.
And we wanted to tell the kids in person,
so valid.
which they were coming out for Christmas. We didn't want it to get out. We wanted them to kind of have that experience. And so, and we didn't put their reaction video in with everyone else because their reaction is very special. It's almost sacred in a way.
Yeah.
They were so thrilled and positive. So it worked out great. But Steven did not believe. Like, he kept saying, like, so you really haven't told anybody? And I was like, the only people I told were my lawyer and my therapist. He was
watching me like a hawk.
So Steven is glued to Stephanie, and her super genuine, offended reaction. Actually, Steven has said multiple times, like,
I can't believe
the first person that we had told like of the friends that the people that he would have assumed I would have spilled the beans to prior were you and Megan Brown. That'd probably be it. Like, maybe Cass, he would have thought like maybe I'd let that slip, but I didn't. And so when he saw your reaction after it, he was like, I now know for sure you didn't tell anybody because that I was like, reaction was insane.
I'm actually going through the stages of grief. And now I'm at anger.
Yeah, she did get angry for a little bit, which was cute. Then you came back because you understood the timing. Happiness. But yeah, so we are engaged. I'm sorry for having kept it a secret. We'll post a little reaction video on the podcast.
Post anger emojis on our next carousel.
No, just pass.
Just saying nice things. That he didn't tell
that
us
has
all.
Been the nicest part is we posted the video and we've had so many people reach out and just be like so kind and excited for us, which is really exciting. I hope the levels are good. Actually, I'm just seeing.
No.
Mine was really low. I put the mic back up. Sorry about that, you guys. Sorry if we were really quiet before. Anyway, so we're gonna do one of these. We're so excited for us to be married. We are engaged, and everybody wants to know what it is like. So we're getting married in the fall. We have the venue nailed down. We have the florist arranged, the videographer, the photographer. We're still going to kind of figure out the food situation, but it's going to be a really beautiful wedding. We're super small. Excited. It's super small. We're really, really excited. Just like the corest of the core people. Yeah. We're there. Steven made a good point that because he does so many like VIP receptions and meet and greets, whatever else, he's like, I don't want it to feel like that. I don't want it to feel like we have 400 people there and I'm having to say, this is my neighbor's, neighborhood friend or my piano teacher from my third grade or whatever. So just really small, mostly family and a few friends, which is going to just be a fun night celebrating. By that time, it'll have been 6.5 years of us dating.
No, that's crazy.
Which is like nuts. So a lot of people's comments are like, about time. We're glad you finally wore Chase down, which is funny because the inverse was kind of the opposite shoe. So yeah, it's been really, really great. So happy engagement, babe.
Ugh, I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm equally angry, but I'm aware.
You're not equally angry.
I'm not equally angry.
But there's like a seed of that. But we did ask you to give a toast.
Oh, honestly, exactly when you told me that you wanted to wait to tell your kids first, understood. Like,
which we told the
period,
kids.
Not mad at all. The second you.
The same day we told you, like, you knew, like hours after the kids.
Yeah, no. The second you told me that, I was more just like, how could you not have let that slip?
I know.
Like,
I know.
How could you?
I surprised myself.
You cannot tell Steven, but I have to tell you. Like, that's exactly what I would have done. I just would have been like, so I'm gonna tell you something that I'm not supposed to tell you.
No, Steven was Steven's like, I really want us to keep it a secret. I want it to be like for us to kind of hold space for it for a little bit, and then we tell the kids, and then everything will get out. The one thing that has been a fun kind of part is that it has allowed me to see my friends and family members and Steven's friends and family members. It's almost like we put everyone through a test, like a psychological test to see like how quickly people were going to get the reference.
Yeah.
And you did great. You got it like
I
pretty,
did
you got it
okay.
like moderately well.
I was like, is this supposed to be my wedding date? Like,
yeah.
I thought you had forgotten my wedding date. And then I was like,
well, and Margot's wedding date is actually our wedding date. And so she thought it was her. So she was like, why did you put the date on here? And I was like, and then she like got it. My mom got it the fastest, which makes sense because she's the smartest person I know. She like separated the little like raffia filler paper and saw the guy's face and she just laughed and then she goes, oh, I know what this is.
Honestly,
I know what this is.
I think if I saw that you were recording me, I would have gotten it quicker.
That's true.
But
I definitely, my mom definitely didn't see that I was recording her because then I had to send her the video to be like, are you cool if I use this? And she said, oh my God, the angle, the lighting, why do I look so old? And I was like, Mom, nobody's going to think that you look old. No. They're going to see how sweet you are and that you're wearing like 7 carats of diamonds on your finger, on your hands. So like I that's what people are focusing on.
No worries, good. Mom. I did not look at any imperfections. I did see the diamonds.
There were quite a few people whose angles where maybe I could have been a little flattering. I wish I would have had those. Have you seen those new Meta sunglasses or the Meta glasses where I could have been recording?
Yeah. That
would have been better, so I could have gotten like straight on. Yeah. But that a light comes on when you use the record.
I feel like it's so much more authentic when you have like weird camera angle videos like that.
Well, our friends Greg and Emily, we told, and Emily has broken her foot, and she also can't be on film on it. Yeah. She told me, she's like, hey, you can't post anything with me because of her work. And so it's just, I didn't realize that it's solely focused on her foot cast. And then like right Greg is like blurry in the background and then he like comes in and out of focus. And I was like, well, all right, I'm still using it. So yes, we are really, really excited. Thank you to everyone who's being super kind. And we will, should I post it on the pod and feed? Yeah, which is great because we haven't done a social cut in about a month and a half. We are living our lives. So this gives the people a little social, crumble.
We are living.
Yeah.
We're busy living.
If you're like, where have you been? It's like surviving, honey.
Getting engaged. That's where we've been.
Literally, we've been keeping secrets. Okay. The other thing I wanted to say, speaking of like my kiddos, my son has a birthday coming up, which I'm very excited. And he got the priesthood in our church. And today was his first day passing the sacrament. And so I just want to say congratulations. And so kiddos, the secret word for the episode will be sacrament, just to say that. So congratulations to Oliver. I'm really, really proud of you. And what else was I going to say or sing? I've been watching the behind the scenes and the extra footage on everything on Wicked because I bought it. Mm-hmm. It's so cool to me that they made everybody audition. Like it wasn't like they just were like, oh, we want this to be so-and-so. They held, major. And then what he ended up saying, what John Manchu, the director, ended up saying was that he was like, I wanted it to be no names. Yeah. Like introducing for both. I did
see that.
And then he said, but the songs are so hard to sing. He's like, I realized we couldn't do a no name.
It requires because a professional.
Yeah, it has to be a professional. So why did I bring that up? Oh, because I just started singing. And I was like, hi, John. For the wicked.
Here's a no name for you.
Yeah, here's no name? Shots fired. I didn't tell you about my engagement, but don't be rude.
That was such a good burn.
That was such a mean burn because it really is like cuts where it's extra deep for me. We're like, here's a no name. Smile to camera. It's like, whoa, okay. I could see we've been watching Housewives.
I have been watching Housewives, actually.
Are you caught up?
Caught up on Salt Lake, not on Beverly Hills.
Beverly Hills is good because we're seeing...
It's good. I just feel like Dorit is doing too much.
Oh, yeah, no. Dorit's trying to get that paycheck, honey. She's getting divorced.
I know. I just need her to be quieter. I need her to be less winded.
And I'm so sad. I just saw Bose is out.
She
quit. Mm-hmm. She said she won't be coming back next year. She also lost her house in the California fires.
Yeah.
All right, we've got some 3GBs.
Yeah.
What do you got, my queen?
I only have one, which I read in the Lives of Puppets, I think is
Secret
what it's
Lives
called.
of Puppets is what you put on the list.
I don't know what the name of it actually is.
Was it good?
Okay, so it's by the author T.J. Klune, who also wrote House on the Cerulean Sea, Under the Whispering Door. He's a very popular, like, queer author who, I would say it's like cozy fantasy, cozy sci-fi.
Okay.
Usually with like messaging behind it. I found his writing to be a little too heavy-handed recently.
Like what?
His last book, and I like. Let me just preface with, like, I like representation in my writing. I like it in the main character. I like it in the side character. I like it in the quests. No problem with that.
Sure.
The dedication was to a specific group of people, and then there was absolutely no representation of that type of person in the book. And I was like, okay, that's a little weird. And then in the second book, like, I feel like it's politically written, but like with a very heavy hand, to where I'm like, I feel like I'm being yelled at a little bit. Right. Maybe it's just also like the political fatigue of last year. I read 2 of his books towards the end of last year, or one of his books towards the end of last year.
You know what you do a really good job at? And every time I hear this, I just think, one, you're a really great reader. You really do help me be like, I need to be reading more. Like, because I'm getting really excited for Onyx Storm. But that means that I need to, and I've been kind of hit or miss on Iron Flame. Like, I've been in it, then I was out. Like, so I'm just going to reread it. I'm just going to reread it because I feel like I was reading ACOTAR. I was starting Throne of Glass, and I was like, hang on, I can't go back to Throne of Glass. Like, everything was getting kind of jumbled. I will say Iron Flame is popular enough now that you probably could get chapter summaries up to where you are. I'm also, like, I read 80 books last year, but I don't waste time reading. Like, there are times when I'm in a book that I'm like, if I don't like a book, I don't care if it was a Nobel Prize winner, I'm not reading the book anymore. Okay. Like, last year, Demon Copperhead was the most, like, popular book. Everybody loved it. I'm like, this is depressing and awful, and I don't want to read things that are depressing and awful. Yeah, I kind of, the Butcher and Blackbird, I'm like an hour left on my Audible, and I was at the gym, which is typically where I listen to my Audibles, and I was like, you know what? It's not lifting me up. Like, it's very graphic. Yeah. And like, there's like smut. Like, I'm not a prude, but I also was just like, oh, I want it to feel uplifting in a way. Like, I know that may make me sound a little meh. Yeah. But I was like, you know what? I'm re-listening to I'm on Goblet of Fire. So I just like picked back up on JK, and I was like, oh, there is something really nice about just reading stuff that makes you feel good, and not being like, well, I have to finish the book. So I've decided I'm not going to finish Butcher and Blackbird.
And go read a summary online, or like, because I just am like, if you don't want to finish the book, one, I think if you've read at least 50% of the book, then you've read the whole book. Sure. Yeah. Okay. I count that towards my read goal. So like Demon Copperhead, I was at like 54%. And I was like, once the crackhead stole his money that he was running away with, that he had collected for years, I was like, enough. I am tired of reading of sad things happening to this person.
Yeah, we have enough sad things in life when we read the news.
The other thing is, like, I cannot read a book where parents or adults in like children's life are continuing to fail them.
Yeah. Agreed.
Like, it's just, I don't know or surround myself with anybody who would do that. And so I cannot relate less to this book. Yes. And I don't want to just read it to feel sadness. There is plenty of things listen, give me a video of a dog who just passed away. I'll feel sad. Like,
same. People coming home from the military. I'm good.
So anyway, reading his books, House on the Cerulean Sea, it was like, beautiful, lovely, like very cozy, very warm. So who did
he dedicate the book to?
He dedicated the book to transgender people, which, great. You are again, he's a very diverse author, like writes very diverse characters with a lot of like, what is the word I'm looking for? Messaging. He has a lot of queer characters in his books. Yeah. Which a lot of books do not. Yeah, very progressive. But then, to my understanding, I did read it in an audiobook, and I was probably going at 1.85 speed. but there were no transgender characters in the book.
How fast can you listen to books? Like, is 1.85 like your cap, or can you go faster?
No, I would say 1.85 is my standard.
Really?
I start a book at 1.75 usually. If there is pauses between their reading, I can't read it. Like,
that's true. And if I listen to a dramatized reading, it's so like, and then they went to battle. Clank, 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 clank.
Yeah,
like that's no wonder it's a 49-hour book.
Yeah, no, reading it on 1 point speed, I would rather pluck my eyelashes out one by one. It is so, if I don't understand what's happening in a book, I will move it down to 1.5 because I'm like, oh, I'm not absorbing what's happening. But I regularly sit at 1.85. Sometimes I have pushed it up to 2. So if I'm on a reread, I'll do 2.0.
I listen to Harry Potter on 1, maybe 1.15 because I actually like it. It's just like, it's like a warm blanket. It's really comforting. Same with The Secret. I reread The Secret. I re-listen to The Secret every year in January. So I just finished it again this week. And I listened to that. It's a really quick read. I think it's like 4 hours or something. But I listened to that like on 1.15 because I don't want to miss out. It's not story based, it's idea based. And I want to make sure that I'm giving enough of the ideas time to like distill on my brain.
No, that makes total sense.
But other than that, I'm like a 1.75.
I only have one book last year that I read. And to be fair, all of them had the exact same names, except for like one character whose name was Aaron. And they were Egyptian names. So I was like, who are we talking about right now? And that one I listened to on like 1.85 speed, and I should have listened to it on 1. Yeah. Because by the end of the book, I was like, 3 stars, because I have no idea what I just read.
I was listening to a summary of Fourth Wing to make sure that I got the right story, but there's this really funny summary. I'll send it to you afterward, where she's like, it's like satirical in a way where she keeps putting different names, and then other stories or characters that are really referential or similar to what's being done in the book, she'll like interplay and be like, wait, what are you doing here? You definitely didn't have the exact same storyline based on, whatever. Yeah. So that is kind of a fun,
I do like reading about things that are political. I think books in general are political. You read about like a fantasy world, it's usually politics that are driving these wars in the, like, I like reading books that are political, but when it's trying to like serve it to me, I don't know. It's like watching The English Teacher, where I'm like, I'm seeing both sides of this. You're making it funny. You're making it easily digestible versus being like, you should feel this way. Or else.
Totally. What was your favorite subject growing up in school?
I would say English or art.
Yeah, English. Whoa, I was like English and art as well.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's like we're friends.
Have we ever talked about your artistic skills on the pod?
I don't know.
You guys, Stephanie is a gorgeous painter.
Wow.
So 2 of my, hang on. Just talk while I go grab something.
Okay. I love to talk. Okay. Okay. I will tell you about like a great experience that I had at Barnes and Noble, where I sat next to, and this old man sat down next to me, which first of all, like a random old man sits next to you and you're like, wait, what am I doing? Oh, that is really cute.
You guys, Stephanie, I'm
not going to finish the old man story.
Sorry. Go ahead. No. Say
I just had an old man in Barnes & Noble sit next to me, and we talked about books for like 45 minutes.
That's fun.
And I was like, is this one of the 3 Nephites? Like, that's how, like...
Oh my gosh, Kate, can I tell you something? It's similar.
Wait, lore? I don't know if we need to explain the 3 Nephites.
3 Nephites in the LDS Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints culture and history say that there are 3 men who God gave permission to stay alive until the second coming, and so they've never died, and those are the 3 Nephites. I actually have a really great story about that.
And they go around and doing good deeds.
Let me come back to that, because I thought I was visited not by a third Nephite, but you know how sometimes you think, is God testing you for your soul?
This is like a crazy Mormon lore.
No, totally, because I have another. I'm going to tell you the 3 Nephite story.
Please.
But you ever feel like God is testing you with something? Like, hey, let's just see, like, random character. This morning when I was going to the gym, I stopped by the 7-Eleven to get gas, and I was listening to Kronk on Life or whatever else, the girl. She's really funny, but I only can do her for like 5 minutes, and then I'm like, got it, and then I have to move on. But I was listening to her, and so I was kind of just like in my mode, and it was freezing this morning because of our snowstorm. But then this woman came up and she was like, hey, would you mind like helping me out with like a gallon of gas? And I was like, I had this moment where I was like, what if I was like, no? And then I was like, whatever, of course. So I went over there, I put my card in, and then I was like, I'll just stay, buy it, and do it, and put $20 in or whatever. And then I got back in my car and I was like, okay, God, if that was a test, I think we know how I did.
I nailed it.
Okay, wait, before I forget, this is one of the things that I've kept in my office since then. I wish you would have dated it. Now that I think about it, because I think this is several years old.
Yeah, that one might be.
But this is one. Stephanie has hand painted birthday cards for me every year. I have them. I have the ones at my house. I have the ones with the little birthday cakes. I have the ones with the cupcakes. I have these ones. And then she also has painted these beautiful. You've got to get back into it, sweetie. You haven't posted about doing it for a long time. Please don't deprive the world of your art. Because she has painted these dresses. Remember, and I asked you to paint one for Lottie Charlotte. Girl.
Yeah.
Because I think it would just be like gorgeous to put up in her room.
It is the like woes of an artist where you're like, you look at it again, you're like, that sucks. I'm not doing it. I know, but
it doesn't suck. It's gorgeous, and I love everything about it.
Are really, I'm telling you, go on Amazon, get a watercolor set, get a set of watercolor cards, and make your cards for people.
Yeah.
Because like nobody cares.
I've kept this in my office for years.
Nobody cares what you write inside. Like it's the card. It's that you made. I don't know. I hate writing cards.
Oh, wow. That is a real weird birthday message. Okay. I have to tell you my third Nephite story.
Yes, please.
So, and then I have to do 3 GBs. Then we have to do some stories. Then I have to go.
Yes.
Okay. My dad is so wonderful. I love everything about him almost. One thing that he doesn't have like the best of is road rage. Because it's a little alarming.
Meaning which if he has a lot of it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So my dad also is like 5'9" in shoes, and was very, very svelte. Like my whole life was very svelte. Like he was not like a super muscular guy, but he was like really strong. Yeah. Like particularly because he has cerebral palsy on his left side, so his right side is just like unbelievably strong. Yeah. But he has a little bit of a temper, and people like kind of treated him badly growing up because he wore leg braces and he had arm braces because of his cerebral palsy. So he was heavily bullied. Yeah. And because of that, if someone is like trying to bully someone or being even like intimating at bullying him, he has, I think, like a very sharp reaction.
No, there's even sometimes where I've been teasing him that I'm like, oh.
Yeah. No, like you got to be
quick with it.
Yeah. He's very, very quick.
He's never been rude to me. He just is quick in response. Yeah.
And anyway, so he's driving on the freeway, and I understand that a car like cut him off, and so my dad engages in some road rage. It's on 215. There are some fingers being exchanged. Yeah. They were not waving at each other. They were doing other things with their hands. Clear. And Imagine the guy pulls over, like gestures to my dad, like, you want to fight? Pull over. And my dad, who is a corporate litigator, who worked at the largest firm downtown in Salt Lake City, also worked in a huge firm in LA. Like, he does not back down from a fight. No. He has giant cojones. So he pulls over his little Mercedes and goes to get out to fight this guy. Yeah. Who I understand when he gets out of his car triples in size. Like, my dad did not gauge from the window view of an individual.
That is the mistake that you make when.
And so my dad says he gets out of the car to fight this person, and a Nephite guy pulls over behind my dad and says, hey, get back in your car. I can take care of this. Get back in your car. And like really cajoles my dad to get back in the car, which he does. And so my dad firmly believes that's a third Nephite who protected my dad and kept him alive. So we really do believe in 3 Nephites in a way. I don't know if it's real or not, but isn't that like...
No, it's like the best lore.
No, it's the best lore because you just wonder, like, what do they look like? Yeah. And like, I would love them to be kind of like the Three Stooges almost, where like... Or like
the ghost of Christmas
past, or like one of them's like very jolly, one of them's like very gaunt, one of them's like a warrior. Like, I don't know. Or they're all just like Harold 1 and Harold 2. Like, you know, so funny. I want that. I want their origin stories, and I really want like I want to watch that footage in heaven of like, let's just see how Larry handled at like centuries.
It could so easily be one of those things though that we get up to heaven. We're like, can we see the 3 Nephite footage?
And they're like, yeah, it's playing in theater 6.
No. God will be like, the what? And we're like, the 3 Nephites. And he's like, babe, no.
We're like, okay, the 1 Nephite?
We're like, but
2 of them?
Who was doing all the miracles?
No, I think it's the opposite. I think it's going to be like, yeah. Before you ask, yes, the 3 Nephites were true, and they're in there. Also, here's who killed John Bonet. Also, like, there's just like, there's human things that's just like, hey, ma'am, welcome to heaven. Couple quick things. Okay, we do know you did. Okay, actually, like, just like your cruise director, but for heaven.
And it's like the people in your life that you were like, weren't sure we're going to make it. They're like,
and it's so they are here. Also, as you can see, you should not have been so mean to them. And then over here, you know, like, I do think that is a really funny.
Like
that's
a great job.
Dogs. Like, people aspirational. Yeah. Now we're feeling nervous. Hang on, I've got someone here that'll help you. It's Spot. You know, and Spot like perfect.
TikTok videos where they're like, me when I get to heaven and God says somebody's been waiting for you, and then it's a video of their dog running towards the camera. I will literally start to cry right now.
I like that is so beautiful. I need a dog so badly because my cat looked at me last night. This is a true story. Looked at me. First off, they came and got me out of bed. I was just laying in bed like since 5 o'clock. Yeah. Like I changed the sheets. I did turn down service for the whole evening.
Early. Yeah.
And so they came and got me. So I was like, oh, dang it. So I go downstairs because I was like, I have to feed them dinner. So I go downstairs and I'm sitting there and then I'm on the phone with Steven. And Moose looks at me and just barfed right in front of me. And I was like, oh my gosh. I know for sure he's not making heaven. He is a demon from hell. So I don't have to worry about him being there for me. But I would love to get a dog who I would be excited to see in heaven. Because right now, like Judge Joe Brown, that was my pug. Like
Moose is there. You'll be like, Moose?
Yeah. Moose. And he's like, what's up?
You got like, up here?
Son of a. And then God's like, please don't finish that. I'm like, boy. Okay, my 3 GBs. One, of course, this is Traitors. Now, I'm not going to give anything away. I'm only going to talk about the contestants, but I'm not going to say like whatever else. Except I'm going to give one thing away.
Because Talia, my coworker and very dear friend now, she was mad at you because last week you said Harry Potter is a Horcrux. And I was like, Talia, I feel like,
gosh, Talia. That's 25 years old. Okay, like I'm not going to give spoiler on this.
I do think that was a you problem.
That
She's like, I know,
I love you. And if you're listening, slay. But also, like, we cannot be responsible for 25 years. Like, there is a point where the spoilers become stale and they're no longer a spoiler.
Last week too, and I did cut it.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Because I did realize.
Wait, what was the Wicked spoiler? Oh, yeah. Okay.
And I saw a video after we left where they're like, I haven't seen Wicked, but I went to go see the movie. And I was like, you know what? I actually think that because the movie made it more accessible, that a lot of people do not know.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, Traitors.
Okay. So Traitors, I'm going to be clear that there may be I'm going to give one spoiler away.
Okay.
Sorry. It's just going to happen.
Okay.
Bob the drag queen is a traitor.
That I did know.
Now, I did pick.
And you would find that out like the first episode.
100%. I picked the Traitors. I've done it now every season, every franchise. I can just read the editing. I'm not like an oracle.
Yeah.
When I'm watching the editing until it happens and I'm like, actually, they're positioning it to be this person, this person, this person. So I got all 3 right. Mm-hmm. Bob is amazing TV. But what Bob said on his Patreon, because I think there's some public backlash against Bob. Now, first off, I thought that they were going to make
he's a
Bob
drag queen?
No. I thought they were going to make Bob a traitor because Peppermint, a drag queen, last season was the first one killed. And so it kind of makes sense because I know that the LGBT community in particular, the drag community felt a little bit like Peppermint was so othered and they were just like, let's just get rid of the freak. So they can't get rid of Bob. But there's some pushback because Bob is making great TV. He's an entertainer. That's what he's made for. But that also can read kind of exhausting, kind of annoying, whatever. And I don't buy into that. But what he said on his Patreon was that he didn't know who any of the contestants were.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I was just trying to make good TV I didn't care who they were. So at one point he calls he says to someone, you're misguided. In fact, that should be your drag name, Misguided, because you thinking it's me is absolutely irrational. Like that level of control. Now,
no, but that's hilarious.
Hilarious, right? And if you know the drag culture, like it's on brand with that. Like they always say the library is open because reading is what? Fundamental. Yes. So and when we're saying reading, that's like reading someone to filth. Like just you read them. It's very housewife coded. So one of the elements that this Traitors season is really capitalizing on are voting blocks. Because they have learned that from the first 2 seasons and then all the other seasons that have been done, so much of it really does come down to your protection if you're faithful, your protection is in your alliance for how did everyone decide they're going to vote.
Yeah.
So that you don't run the risk of getting eliminated. The only way you could get eliminated is by a traitor.
Yeah.
And because of that, we're seeing different alliances form.
Yeah.
Did you see the clip of Chriselle Stroud reading Tom Sandoval to filth? She accuses him of being a traitor. And she's like, I mean, traitors are supposed to lie, cheat, and deceive people. And Tom, I don't know of anybody that could do that better than you, given your history. So I think you're a traitor. And you're just like, goop.
I did see a clip of somebody stitched Ariana walking into the Love Island villa, like literally dripping in gold, looking so hot.
And Tom being sweaty, pit stains the morning of. He's panicking. He's sweating. He's so uncomfortable. He's also like, he didn't have a stylist. Everybody knows you don't wear light gray ever if there are lights on you. Like I never wear light gray, and we have lights on us.
Part of it too is that you dress well on that
You dress well on the show. You know that you're on like Sierra from Summer House.
Queen.
The looks, Gabby from Bachelorette, who I think is my favorite contestant on.
Okay.
She's great TV. I like her on social media anyway. But my favorites, just so everyone knows, my favorites are Bob, because incredible gamesmanship. I love Carolyn from Survivor. She's whack as bananas, but I obsess with her. Gabby from Bachelorette. At one point, someone asks her, so you were on The Bachelorette? And she's like, yeah. And she goes, how did it go? He goes, how did it go? And she's like, I'm a lesbian now. And there's just something that's so funny about that, funny. Like take. And then Dylan Efron. Zac Efron's brother is on it? Phenomenal. Okay. He is so good. They're saying he's kind of like Pilot Pete from last season, where like he's really getting things, but nobody is listening to him because they're kind of like, who are you again? Yeah. Dolores is my other person who there's just a thing about Dolores from New Jersey.
Was on it. Wow, I'm so excited to watch.
Someone had said when she's being interviewed by Alan Cummings for it, he's like, why would you be a good traitor or whatever? She's like, I don't want to be a traitor. I want to be faithful. Or, you know, she says something like that. He's like, why? And she's like, I was married to a cop. I can sniff out snitches and liars and whatever else. And they're like, she said it with just such confidence, like an ease. And I was like sometimes they're on there and they're a little like performative. You're like, someone helped you say that. We get that you're filming a TV show. Dolores Catania just oozes like kind of mob wives energy.
The way that I have not been able to stop thinking about Misguided as a drag name. Like that's so good.
Wait, the other ones that Steven came up with, he was saying, dang it. Because my other favorite one, here's my other GB is RuPaul Drag Race UK season 6 and UK Drag Race Down Under season 4. I just finished season 6. I showed you some of the clips before we started. So we cried. It's so good. And then on the Down Under, I don't love it because RuPaul's not hosting. It's Michelle Visage hosting, which is like, but the name on there, one of the drag queens is Lazy Susan.
That is a great one.
Lazy Susan is an excellent drag name. And then she says, you know, it actually comes from the Greek, which means to put on a table and pass around businessmen. And I don't know why. I just thought I laughed so hard.
Funny.
So we need to come up with what your drag name would be and what my drag name would be. Steven has a really good one. Actually, let me just see if he's around.
Don't you remember I literally woke up one day with one in my head? I don't think it would be my drag name because I don't really feel like it reflects me. But Portia Potty.
Wait, Steven already said that. That was one of Steven's.
Like porta potty?
Yes.
Maybe I said it on the podcast.
Maybe you did. Maybe that's why Steven said it.
But like porta potty. But like you have to like have a good or porta party.
Love.
Or Portia party. But it just sounds like porta potty. That to me is really funny.
I like those ones. One of the ones that I really liked was Chiranthrax, for anthrax or Chiranthrax. And then they had his partner, his like boyfriend, come on, and he made him into Rubella. Her name was Rubella. I think those ones are really funny. Yeah. And then the other one was, dang it, I'm just forgetting it. It's gonna come back to me. But and then her dad was the opposite one. Oh, voila, and then voila. Anyway, it was something like that where it's like I like the witty. Drag names really are witty.
Yeah, they're
like
so
if you do it right, it's like a really, really good.
Claudia Oshry has one of the best one, which is Disgracie Lou Freebush.
Yes,
so good. No, she really nailed that one. Honestly, I will never get over Misguided. That was so clever.
So good. And he did it like in real time. Like also what I like about drag queens are when they're really bright, like bright drag queens that are really witty, that have a really robust vocabulary. I think that's like solid.
Amazing.
So, okay, let's get into, the other one I was going to say, my third GB is Landman, which is the new Taylor Sheridan series with Billy Bob Thornton and Demi Moore and John Hamm, all about oil in Texas. Taylor Sheridan just knows how to do a show. Tulsa King, phenomenal. Obviously Yellowstone, 1821, and the Lionesses, and then now I'm watching Landman with Steven.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's intense, but the storytelling, I'm obsessed with the characters, and the season finale is today. So
exciting.
Those are my 3 GBs. Okay, let's get into some advice for just a little beat here. And we are going to start out like with what everybody is thinking about right now. We probably should have said this at the beginning of the show. But our hearts go out to those in California affected by the horrible fires there. I can't imagine losing everything and having it burned to the ground. Right on the heels of 475,000 people, their insurance getting canceled because of how dangerous the wildfires were said to be, or how dry, or that it was like prone for disaster. So our hearts go out. You did give us these
stats. I think that like what has been so harrowing about it is like, gosh, the access we have to like footage these days, and you're seeing people walk up to their house and it's gone, or their entire neighborhood is gone and their house is the only one still there.
Can we take
sitting
a minute
in the comfort of your own home on your couch?
Yeah, it harkens back to the idea when things are really, really bad, look for the helpers. And my heart is just like exploding for the firefighters and the heroes. Salt Lake, Utah firefighters are heading out to California and helping. When I see them going in and pulling out photographs and memorabilia and signed baseballs or whatever else that they may see, and then putting them out for the families, it's just heartwarming. If you can donate, my understanding is that more than anything, they need cash donations so that they can put them on cash cards to be able to have people buy clothes. Yeah,
it's also like I've seen a lot of there is a neighborhood. I'm so sorry, I cannot remember the name of it, but it starts
Palisades?
with an A. Oh. No, it was one of the very first neighborhoods that allowed Black people to own property.
Oh, wow.
And pretty much all of it has burned down. So there's even like links specific to these. I mean, they were largely like Black neighborhoods, not rich, wealthy neighborhoods, and like GoFundMe directly to like those. I think like a lot of people know friend of a friend, and like donating those places and donating to the right places.
And when we were doing the Sub for Santa, a lot of people donated. Some people donated very small, $20, $5 or whatever. And they would write and say, I'm so sorry, I'm not giving a ton. And my response to them is the response I have to give to anybody who would say, well, I can't give $20,000, $10,000, $5,000, $100, whatever. If everybody gave $5, like if we just think of the collective, the grassroots fundraising,
like $1,
right? Just donating something does also help psychologically help you feel like, okay, I did something and I can do other things. And so we have Steven also, sorry, he just wrote back on the drag names, but I feel like it's now bad timing for me to bring it up.
Later.
Okay, so just remind me, because he wrote
later.
He wrote the other one, which is actually really great.
Okay.
But here are some of the statistics that we wanted to be able to share. The Palisades fire, which started just last Tuesday, 22,000, just under 23,000 acres, which is the size of Manhattan.
Acres.
The entire island. It's 11% contained. 5 deaths. And then it has escalated quickly because they have hurricane force winds that are having the fires jump. What I will say are the footage of people who are actually like arsonists that are also just lighting houses on fire.
Fight me.
I hope you burn.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
Yeah. Fight me.
Okay. Then we have the Eaton fire, which also started on Tuesday. That's what you're thinking. Altadena, that must be the area, because that was an A one. 8 deaths there. Obviously, tons of people who are hospitalized, and it spread rapidly again because of the wind. The Hearst fire. So if we just thinking, the Eaton fire is 14,000 acres. We have the 23,000 acres, which takes us up to 37,000 acres. Then we have just under 1,000 acres with the Hearst fire. That one is principally, 76% contained, but still, crazy. And then another 1,000 with the Kenneth fire that is about 80% contained. And then the Lydia fire, which is about 400 acres, which has been 100% contained. But in just 2 hours, the fire ballooned from 80 acres to 340 acres. That's just how rapid it was. A really rapid growth.
I think my biggest advice, obviously, look for the helpers.
Yeah. Or be a helper.
Yeah. I think Traven and I were talking about this. I watched a video of somebody who had lost their home, and you do look at it and go we're safe.
Yeah.
That is what matters. And you look in your own house and go, what would I grab?
Yeah.
But then it's you're sitting there thinking about that, being but what if I couldn't come back to my home?
Yeah, right.
There is just still it's so silly that we're just humans who live in boxes,
right, that
we've paid for, and then we invite other people into our boxes. You break it down that way, but it is really, my home is such a sanctuary for me. It is a space that I have cultivated. And then when you really dive into it, I'm I would only take my wedding ring. And then I'm okay, but what about those photos we got from these trips? And what about this? And what about that? And it really, even though things are replaceable, it is the collection of your life.
Yeah. The other thing that I think people can do, look for the companies that are making efforts to replace goods that were lost in the fire for free. So Lola Blankets, if you have a receipt and you lost your blanket in fire, they'll just replace it for free. So if you're oh, okay, great, what could I do? Go and support those businesses. Chapbooks similarly just did a press release saying, hey, if you've lost your books, we'll replace them for free. Those sorts of companies, it is kind of
and whenever you want to buy a blanket next time,
be great, these are people. And sure, if the cynics want to say they're capitalizing on the tragedy for financial gain, cool. You can read into that all you'd like, but they're doing something. And sure, it may have some self-interest or whatever, or we could view it this is just really cool and I want to support them. So be looking. There's websites out there that because we're not a political pod, we're not going to post anything there. But I hope nobody listening interprets our silence on which organizations. I think we can identify some of them. And so maybe I'll put some of those links up because there are websites. We understand that, unfortunately, tragedies like this get politicized almost at the jump. And we're not jumping into that political foyer. I'm uninterested in weaponizing, capitalizing, or critiquing people going through tragedy.
Yeah, or
regardless of their socioeconomic or their politics or whatever.
That has been so frustrating of people being
well, do you have?
Oh, they're wealthy. Oh, these
are
Paris
Hilton lost their home. How many does she have? Who cares? I don't want to.
I'm not interested.
Yeah, I'm not interested, and I don't love how that makes you look.
Yeah.
We can critique if people should be feeling sad, or we could just say, hey, how do we help? And for those of us that are believers in good, it's just hey, add more good. Yeah. So I saw this other really beautiful post that had said, when we are in there, we're oh, I'm so glad it wasn't me. Gosh, it'd be so hard. Staying in the space of more gratitude actually does, I believe in meta, and I believe in energies, and I believe in putting more and positive energy and focusing on more great gratitude helps just collectively the place. And so I think that's what we could do.
I literally, after spending a whole day on social media, so sad, Tuesday, Wednesday, at one point I just got up and just hugged my house. Just be grateful for the things that you have. If you can't help, if you can't donate, the very least that you could do is be mindful and grateful. And maybe look at your things and be okay, what am I consuming that I don't need to? What can I just be grateful for that's in my space?
And if you know people that have been affected by it, reaching out, even if you can't monetarily help, just be I'm going to sit with you there. I saw this kind of collection of, as now that it looks like the Supreme Court's going to uphold the ban. I would, if I'm
TikTok.
a betting man, I watch the entire oral argument, or I listen to the entire oral argument with the Supreme Court taking up the TikTok ban, and it looks like it's going to be upheld.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they don't until it's been decided, but I think it will be banned. And so someone had put together a collection of like, thank you TikTok for this. And it was some of the like more beautiful moments. And it had Mama Tot on there, who was like, I'll just sit with you, baby. It's okay. I can sit with you. And I got emotional watching that because I just thought there is real beauty. Steven does this unbelievably well. He, as like an empath, is really able, it's his, strength, and sometimes it can be a kryptonite. But of being able to like just sit with people in the storm and being like, I'm sorry, it's wet. I'm sorry, it sucks. Tell me about it. And giving permission for people to be able to vent and be able to get out their feelings or to share in the tragedy. There's value in that too. And that doesn't cost a dang penny. Yeah. And so if you are like feeling like, oh man, it's overwhelmed, add beautiful things into the world, be grateful, be willing to sit with people. If you can donate something, great. If you can donate your time or a listening ear or compassion or gratitude, do that as well. Yeah. And that's why we're saying take our advice. That's good advice, you guys.
Yeah, no, that's great advice.
So maybe you should do it.
Therapy costs money. This is free.
Yeah, this is absolutely free.
This is not even behind a paywall.
We go to therapy so that you guys can get secondhand therapy for free. Also, Steven's other name is Poppycock. Is the one that he thinks is a great
That's
poppycock.
A great name, Steven.
Yeah, so 10 points to him. I should marry him. Okay, School of Rock sweethearts Caitlin Hale and Angelo Massagli
I don't know what
are married, and then the cast reunites to celebrate their wedding. To be clear,
the girl is one of the backup singers, the blonde one, and the guy was the
Frankie,
main security.
The security. Yeah. So they got married.
So cute.
So cute.
Honestly, I'm like, he looks like a mobster. She looks like a hot mobster wife.
Yeah.
Seeing all of the kids grown up.
Her dress was
gorgeous.
Here's my one suggestion, because I did see some like negative comments on social media or whatever else. My advice to when people are getting married, if it's not your wedding,
shut up.
Don't comment on the style, the dress, the taste. Just be like, oh my gosh, congratulations. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything.
Yeah, hate in silence. I would like to know less about your opinions.
Hate in silence. I'm such a huge fan of that. So that's really the only thing, but it was really fun. So if you guys like School of Rock,
my advice though, if you're going to do a reunion, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
You got to get everyone there. They all got to be dancing on the dance floor together. I need a video recap. I need to see everybody grown up. I need to see them all drinking. Like, I need the full. It only would have been perfected if Jack Black was there.
Fully. The other thing that I kind of love about weddings, we're not going to do this for ours because our vibe is very, very different. But I did see this really, because now that I've said wedding into my phone 1,000 times, or even just one time, my phone repeats it back to me 1,000 times. And so I just get content all the time. One of them is like an office style videographer who does like, it's like camera and you like look to the camera and then they have interviews. It's like, I definitely knew he was whatever. That is such a funny vibe. And I would like, if you're going to have a reunion like that, it'd be really cool if you had your videographer do it like a true like reunion style or office behind the scenes or something.
Incredible.
Also, this is a fun story you picked, which I love that all the stories aside from the fire, these ones are kind of wedding coded, engagement coded. That's definitely thematic for where we're at. But the Wheel of Fortune contestant gets engaged on the set after solving the puzzle that said, "Will you marry me?" She guesses it, at the doors open, and her really cute fiance comes out and proposes on the show.
I loved this so much.
Agreed.
And like, here's the thing. I don't actually subscribe to that proposals have to be big, giant things, massive occasions, proposal on the big screen, whatever. But oh my gosh, you know that she loves, what's Wheel of Fortune?
Wheel of Fortune, yep.
You know that she loves Wheel of Fortune so much so that she got on the show and he created something so catered to her. And like, I love that. My advice is be more creative.
Yeah, I just love, like, if it's something that loves them, it's the orange peel theory. Have you seen that on social media? The orange peel theory is saying, look, am I capable of peeling my own orange? Of course.
Yes.
But my partner peels the orange for me because they know that it means something, that it's something
it's
doing.
an act of service.
Even if I can do it myself, it's doing something that's kind of putting the other person first. And I feel like engagements or just efforts in relationships I just love people that are putting in effort, and effort matters. And so whatever it may be, if you're in a relationship, and I'm not talking just romantic, I'm talking if you have friendships, if you have relationships in your family or whatever else, and particularly if you have a partner that you're choosing to have a romantic relationship with, finding ways to tune into what works for them is probably the most beautiful thing you can do in the relationship.
Agreed.
Do I think, was this guy saying, I love Wheel of Fortune, and so I want the engagement to be Wheel of Fortune? No. He said on there, I know how much it meant to her, and I lived in her world to help her feel special so that she knew that I saw her.
I love it.
And I was listening to Nate Bargatze's stand-up this morning, and I wrote Stephen, and I was like, hey, have you listened to this yet? Because I was listening to it, and I was like, this really is right up your alley. And then I said to Stephen, I'm so glad I have someone in my life who I adore so much that I can also be like, hey, you would love this. Like I see something like I'm thinking about it in terms of them. And that is a gift in there. So if you have a partner, if you have relationships, living in their space to help them feel special, I think is a really beautiful thing to do.
Agreed.
As we're preparing for Valentine's Day and as you're looking to, what are we supposed to do? The pressure kind of goes away if you're like, okay, what works for them? If you're really thinking like, nah, I want to go above and beyond. If they don't like above and beyond, if they don't like whatever, if they don't want something big and flashy, don't.
No, there are some days that I'm like, what I really could give Traven this week is me actually putting away my laundry.
Yeah.
Like he does not need anything expensive. He does not need a dinner out. He needs me to put away my laundry. And that would mean the most to him.
Totally.
You really can, if you look around, you can think of something. And
if you're, the other thing I kind of loved is the other two contestants that were in on it, that they're like trying to act like, oh yeah, G. Oh, I guess it's not a G, and then they're, I did think it would be really funny if it just went sideways. And so if the girl cannot guess,
so competitive.
No, the other girl cannot get it, right? So they're just they're like, Y, okay. And then the girl's like, D. And they're like, Then they go back and they're like, X? They're like, the other two contestants are like, we're trying to give this to you, sweetie.
Bad.
There's a guy behind the door that's going to propose. And she's just like, P? I'd like to solve the puzzle, chicken noodle soup. They're like, oh my gosh, you cannot.
How did we cast this girl?
That's my anxiety. If I were to be like, okay, I'm going to put this together, I'd be like, how are we going to make sure she can get this? Because nothing would be worse. It's televised. And then it'd be memorialized forever. Yeah. That you're a dummy. A big dum-dum. That's so many people bringing it back to me. So many people, when they saw the candle or they saw the video, they were like, oh my gosh, how many people got it longer than me? And there's one person who it really did. I had to just not even spoon feed. I had to spoon shovel it into their mouth to help them get it. And then I ended up just telling them, and they were so funny. They're like, did everyone else get it? Except me. And I was like, yes, but when I post it, I'll only post the part where you're excited about it. And I won't post the 6 minutes prior where we're having to be like, we made it. No, we made it. We poured it. It's all custom. Oh, what about the date?
No, I will say Stephen, before you gave it to me, was like, I helped with this one. And I was like, oh, that's so thoughtful. And then that also just helped process. I was confused by the date. That's what really got me. I obviously knew the person, but the date, I was like, what are we even talking about?
Yes. So I do love that. I do love, and I am excited to be in this next little phase where you're going to really just have to indulge me, you guys, because I love talking about events generally. I love making events. And I've got some good ideas planned for this. It's going to be gorgeous. Wedding. We do have a dress code. So obviously. Anything else you want to go over before we wrap up the show today?
No, I think that's all I got.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Please like and follow us on social media, Good Bad Advice podcast. Find us there. We're going to do some social cuts. We're going to post the little wedding video. So actually, if you haven't seen it, because it was public or it was private on my page. A bunch of people wanted to see it. It is interesting because I only have so many followers on my personal page where I posted it, and the view count on the video is like more than double my followers, but it can't be shared. So it just means people are rewatching it. My parents did say that they are about like 300 of the views. My dad said it was just like on loop. Like it just was so, he was like, and it's so happy to see your tribe be so happy for you. So I will post it so that way the people on the pod can see it.
I knew I would be happy for you, obviously, but there is something I had you send me a lot of the videos ahead of time because I have been so close to your relationship with Steven, and I've been close to you, and there is just something about seeing genuine happiness for your friend and genuine happiness like from others.
Yeah,
for
and
them.
you're so protective as well that you're like, is everybody responding positively?
Was everyone excited?
Send me their video. Prove it. Because I love that. Like, and obviously, like the people, everybody was. Almost everybody was. One person was a little like, meh, meh. Anyway. But other than that, everyone was super positive, and so I'm just like so appreciative. So hop onto our socials. I will put that there. But other than that, that is it, and we will see you guys next week. Bye. Okay, do you want me to tell you who the bad person was?
Yeah.